You're listening to Battle of the Epics, Episode 10, End of the Line. The fight at the Hamlet of the Acclaimed began just before dawn. Working through the night, the cinematics were able to finish 2 suits. Straws were drawn, with Back to the Future and Howard the Duck decided as the pilots. Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith led the charge, but were quickly dispatched under a mountain of sand, summoned by Lawrence of Arabia. Guardians of the Galaxy was next in line. She was able to cut through and subdue many classics before The Sound of Music and West Side Story used their amplifiers to put her behind a wall of sound. Back to the Future and Howard the Duck emerged inside their gargantuan theme suits. Their hands emitted large beams of crystal clear quality that melted through a flank of trolls. Back to the Future took out his sword, going right, taking out a number of the Acclaimed, as Howard did the same. They pushed their assailants back, but more trolls respawned, jumping into the fray. Then a painful, cold breeze, accompanied by a large shadow, loomed overhead. Looking up, they could see a flying version of the Titanic, made of ice. The belly of the ship opened up, with Titanic and The Last Jedi gliding down in front of Back to the Future and Howard. Titanic shot an ice blast at Howard that Back to the Future was quick to leap in front of and block with his shield, taking all of the damage. Backy, what are you doing? We lost this one, but it's not over. You have to get to Blockbuster Kingdom and warn the others. What are you, crazy? They're not gonna listen to me. Downtown, Commando's Grill in the Action District. There's a few cinematics who will. And leave you and the others? They want us more than you. So we'll give them what they want and live to fight another day. You're too good, Backy. Some would say it's my character flaw. Now make like a tree and leave. Back to the Future provided cover for Howard, who used his rocket boosters to fly fast and far away. By the time he reached his destination, he had exhausted the suit's full capabilities as it started to fall apart, crashing into the streets of downtown Blockbuster Kingdom. Howard ran out of the wreckage, frantically searching for Commando's bar and grill. He rushed through the front door. The place was packed with wall-to-wall action cinematics and a blaring jukebox. Howard yelled as loud as he could, "Hey! Hey everyone! We're in serious trouble! Hey!" It seemed hopeless until a loud thumb whistle rang out over the noise, getting everyone's attention. The sound came from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, who had seen Howard enter from her spot at the pool table. Yo, listen to what the dude has to say. Thanks. You got it, dude. Howard leapt on the pool table, frantically telling everyone everything that had happened up to this point, hoping against hope that his words would resonate. Meanwhile, in Sequel City, the city's descent was slow enough that it allowed the never-ending story to evacuate cinematics while others used escape pods or their sky vehicles. Mallrats and Pulp Fiction stood side by side as they watched from the command center. I really miss my Sky Caddy. There has to be a pod left. And let you die with all the glory? Stubborn to the end, huh? What are you doing here? Serious deaths are for serious flicks. Yeah, well, Mallrats grabbed Pulp Fiction and kissed her. She slapped him, then kissed him harder. An engine exploded, accelerating the drop. Neither cinematic cared to stop their lip lock. The Millennium Falcon glided into view, with Avatar standing on its hull. The cinematic used his newly gained abilities to pause Sequel City in mid-air. His teeth clenched, sweat rained down his blue-furrowed brow as he steadied the city to the grassy knoll beneath him. After Mallrats and Pulp Fiction realized they did not perish, they looked forward to see Avatar salute them with a grin. Moments later, the remaining cinematics had gathered around Avatar and Star Wars to sing their praises. The Empire Strikes Back stood out from the crowd, nodding at her brother in gratitude. Wars, Empire, don't get all gushy, you two. Both Ghostbusters pushed through the crowd, holding Blade Runner 2049 by the throat, then threw him at the feet of Star Wars. This creep is second in command. We figured he could fill us in on just what these demon rats have in store. Star Wars knelt down to Blade Runner 2049's level, looking into his eyes with a mixture of disgust and pity. Tell us everything you know. And what if I don't? I knew your sister, so it would be unfortunate, but... Star Wars ignited his blue and red lightsaber near Blade Runner 2049's throat. This world never needed two Blade Runners, now did it? Meanwhile, on the outskirts of Blockbuster Kingdom, a roaming caravan of imprisoned cinematics from Cult Classic Village marched down the dirt road, their feet and hands in chains as troll sentries to their sides whipped them if they got out of step. It had been a brutal 3 days of endless walking, no food, no water. Fear of death was the only thing keeping them alive. The Phantom Menace, perched atop a nearby cliffside, viewed everything through a set of binoculars. After defeating the Force Awakens, who rested nearby in cuffs, they went back to the cabin to see its charred remains. The Phantom Menace decided to go back to Blockbuster Kingdom on foot when they came upon the imprisoned cinematics. Oh boy, this a muy malo. Get me out of these cuffs, and we could go down there together. Yousa must think me's a crazy or stupid. Either way, me's a have to be both to listen to any word yousa say. I know their plan. As soon as they make it to Blockbuster Kingdom, those cinematics are going to be skinned. The weak ones will fade away, while the others will rot in a dungeon. You want that? No. Then free me. 2 Star Wars are better than 1. Yousa know Star Wars. The Force Awakens bowed his head, feeling lower than dirt. You aren't wrong to hate me. I can't take back what I did, but at least give me the chance to set things right. The Phantom Menace stared down The Force Awakens, uncertain of his next move, when a crack of thunder split the sky open. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Return of the Jedi, and Back to the Future, Part 3, leapt from the portal. Scotty Jetty, you's okay! The Phantom Menace hugged Scott so hard, he nearly squeezed the life out of her. Return of the Jedi sneered at The Force Awakens before igniting his green and red lightsaber. The Force Awakens was terrified, staring in wide-eyed shock at what he assumed to be a vengeful ghost. Return of the Jedi used his blade to cut away his bonds. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Get up and shut up. How did you... You slaughtered my duplicate. I heard you before. But actions speak louder than words. What do you need me to do? You're going to hand us over to the trolls. Squeeze me? It's cool, Phantom. All part of the plan. And you better stick to it. The Force Awakens came down the trail, dragging the others with a rope manifested by Back to the Future, Part 3. He identified himself as a cinematic, working with Titanic, filling them in on the details of his double cross of the others at Battle Mountain. Scott, The Phantom Menace, Return of the Jedi, and Back to the Future Part 3 were added to the chain gang headed to Blockbuster Kingdom. Phase 1 of their plan was now complete.
Young enough to feel it. Young enough to feel it. My body's young enough to feel this. Young enough to feel it. My body.
We've reached the end to another episode of Battle of the Epics. Stay tuned as the adventure continues. This episode was written, voiced, and edited by Drew Manning. Intro and outro music was the song Chocolate Jackalope from Rise Records artist Dance Gavin Dance off their album Mothership, available on all streaming platforms. If you like what you heard, please like, share, and leave a comment. Feel free to drop a line at thedrewniverse82@gmail.com, Twitter handle @Drew Manning, or at Instagram @ManningDrew. And as always, Ear Samad!